guys, it's jennibellie. Fully expect this video to be a very rambly video because I have no idea what I'm feeling at the moment, and I don't really know how to get it out. I guess what the aim of this video is to turn something negative into positive. I've always had that philosophy, or try my best to have that philosophy. What I have noticed recently is I'm getting a lot of the green-eyed monster about me, and I don't like it at all. And I see what other people have, and I'm begrudging other people having certain things, and that's not a characteristic I like at all. It's a very ugly characteristic. What it is from me thinking, looking at my own, it's a comparison. I'm looking at my own situation and going, I don't have this, I don't have that, why do they have this, why do I not have that when I've worked as hard, you know, and things like that. And I guess I'll give you some examples. Like, the main one is materialistic things. Like, I don't own my own home, and I still have a lot of student debt. Just recently, it's happening a lot more and a lot more. Just because I guess where I am in life and where society expects me to be in life, and I'm not there. And it's very difficult when these people that have a lot of these things then say to you, oh, do you not have a boyfriend yet? No, I don't. Like, fortunately, being single has never been something that bothers me, and I look at a lot of my friends who are in relationships that they're in relationships for the sake of being in relationships, and I just laugh at their wasted time, you know. So, kind of, I'm okay about being smug about being single because they can sneer at me for doing it, but I've got my own life, and I'm emotionally dependent, you know. Independent. And I'm emotionally independent. So I don't need to worry about being single. But the rest of it means that because I don't have a partner, I don't have a house, and I can't afford a mortgage, and this kind of things that make me very negative towards other people that I see having all of these things. And I need to flip it. The only person that envy, or any negative feeling actually, not just envy, any negative feeling, the only person it has an effect on is yourself. So, what I'm going to do to try and turn these negative feelings into positives is a vision board. And I'm putting this video out there so that anybody else can do it with me if you want to address your negative feelings. What I propose we do for the next video is we all just take a few minutes to address what our negative feelings are. And it doesn't have to be envy, it could be any negative feeling that you're battling with right now. And flip it so that you see the blessings that we have in our lives, so we don't have that negative energy around us. So I'm going to give an idea as to a way that I kind of try and turn these negative feelings around straight away. Is like the house thing. No, I don't own my own house, but what I do have in my life is a lot of love and a lot of things that means I have the ingredients to make a home. Okay, so money can get me a mortgage, or a mortgage can get me a house, but what those things are not capable of doing is providing me with a home. So, I have those things already. I don't need to be jealous of anybody else that has bricks and mortar. Okay? Things like the materialistic things, like when I see people having beautiful things all of the time, I don't need to worry about other people having certain things that they can buy from IKEA or somewhere. I don't have a lot of materialistic things, but what I do have is beautiful. It's things that have been given to me with love, things that have been made with love, a very small amount of things, but things that have history to them, things that have memories attached to them, things that are important to me and that nobody can get out of IKEA. Regardless of a vision board being saying, I want this, I want that, what I think the actual action of doing this is going to do, it's going to be cleansing. It's going to focus our minds as to what it is we actually are driving for, but it's also just going to be about shedding off this negativity and having your focus, your aim on something that is positive. Right guys, so I thought what a nice introduction into our vision boards would be is some affirmation tiles. And I'm sure everybody's heard of affirmations, and I'm sure everybody's heard of art tiles, and I'm just merging the two together here. Now, whether you believe in affirmations or not, and whether you are going to repeat what we are going to put into our tiles over and over again every day or not, just having a couple of positive messages on our vision boards to just glance at every, a couple of times a day, it really does help, because words are very powerful and they do seep into our psyche. So just in case you haven't done affirmations before, it is all about the wording. So say you have an issue with your body image at the moment. What you wouldn't put in there is I am not fat, because that still has a bit of negative connotations around the word fat. What you would do is switch that for something like slim and say I am getting slim, or I am achieving my desired figure. What we are going to use are just scrap materials. So I have here some grey board, some scraps from a book board that I was using, and the best kind of board I've found to use is the back of sketchbooks, because you've got to lean on the page, then the back of the board, the back of the sketchbook's usually a very strong board, so that's a good one to use. Or I'm probably going to use this in the tutorial, which is just some packaging, and also some scrap paper, something that I've sprayed on, just some scraps, some painted paper that I had from the Crafty Solutions for using waste paints, inks and sprays, that video. So these are all kind of good things to use for it. We're also going to use some type of glaze, and there's lots of glazes out there. I'm just going to use glossy accents around the edges as well. I put in a little bit of crackle accents, but use whatever you have. You can even use some clay glaze, anything. So let's get to cracking. I'm going to handwrite this affirmation, but what you can do is use stamps, as I've done here, and also print affirmations off of the computer if you want to do that. And you can do it as you want, but what I like to do is first of all create on the paper before I adhere it to the grey board, because I don't care about the sizes. I don't think it matters what size your tiles are. I mean, look at the difference here. I prefer to be happy with the tile, then take the paper onto the grey board. So I'm just going to scribble on here. Right, now I'm going to cut it. Decide what size this tile is going to be. Looks like it's going to be that size. Okay, so things like inks and things obviously are going to make the edges look a lot nicer. I might take the blue because there's already a bit of blue paint in there. Think about any embellishing you want to do, any embellishments you want to put on before you come to adhere it. So I think I might play around with some white. Okay, so once it's dry, I cut the rest of the board, and I usually square up my paper to the edges of the board just to make my board go further. Okay, and then what I would do is usually ink the edges with something, and then cover the whole thing in glossy accents. Okay, you can put absolutely anything into your glaze. I've got in here some metal studs, some Swarovski crystals. I've got in here some gemstone hematite beads. And what I've also done is, in the wet glossy accents, I put in some glitter glue, which does expand, just so you were aware of that. The same with this one. I put in some glitter, I put in some sand along these edges. There's book pages underneath, and then some iridescent glues with some gems. This one, to frame the bottom, I put a border stamp along, and then in each of the little flowers I put in a metal stud and a crystal in the centre of that one. And what you can also do is use sentiments that come from scrapbooking papers. So I've used this George Bernard Shaw quote here, but just to give you an idea, these are some cool phrases that will be used, could be used for affirmation tiles, and these are all from the same scrapbooking paper. And just to give you an idea that you can use absolutely anything you have in your studio to make tiles, here are some Tim Holtz fragments. With that one I used my little label maker, and then here are some rather rubbish old chipboard pieces that I then put gems around the edge because I kind of liked it being framed. And then there is handwriting on the inside, another handwritten one, and this one is again on a crappy piece of chipboard. And around here is just some scrap chain. And then you can use anything, so you can use things like dominoes are used for art tiles, or some wood. I have a chunk of wood here that I've used to do this little collage, art collage. You can use that. You can use absolutely anything. The point isn't what you're using. Don't worry about the shapes, don't worry about the sizes, just have fun in your creating, and you will see these in the next video. That is the next video, and I will see you there. A drink after all of this talking.